everybody and welcome back. We are here for week 35 of the Altered Index 2025 challenge. This is the challenge that I'm running in my Facebook group, Non-Stop Papercrafts, and of course here on my channel. So today's prompt is solar system. So as usual, I have gathered some bits and pieces together. I am thinking of doing an ink blended background. I have a little astronaut that I have printed onto the corner of this page. I have taken down some of my dies, so I'm going to use these just to kind of draw the circle. I'm actually going to punch them out with the punches that I have. But I kind of went through and I thought, well, that's roughly the same size of that. So I'm just going to use this as a guide to draw my circles, and then I'm going to colour them in using my oil pastels. And then just, try and arrange my planets on here for my solar system, and then obviously have my little astronaut kind of floating into the picture as well. So that's the idea of where I'm going. I think I'm going to start perhaps with the ink blending. Now I'm only going to be using this top section for the oil pastels, and obviously I want to go as close to the edge as I can with my dies, because obviously I'm going to be reaching in with my punches, so I want to make sure that they're near the edge. So I think what I might do actually is just quickly draw those circles in, and then I've got them drawn. So let's pull that bit down. So I'm just going to hold it in place. I'm just going to draw it in the centre, just so I know roughly where it is I'm going to be colouring. Oops, got my finger in the way for that one. And this is just a nice little kind of cheat way of doing it. So if you ever need a circle template, I do like to draw around my dies sometimes. Just makes it so much easier. So they're going to be my planets. I'm going to use this white space just to kind of protect my desk when I'm doing my ink blending, but I'm just going to do that first. So I'm going to use, I've got Memento dye ink. So I've got Tuxedo Black, and then I've got Nautical Blue. So I'm going to make it kind of bluey blackish sky. So I've got it's actually a new dabber, so it might take a little while to kind of get it blending to begin with. Just going to move my punches over slightly, and I'm going to start with the blue. So I'm just going to get some ink on here first. So this is a new dabber, so it's going to take a minute to grab some ink. Oh, she says, and it's already kind of flaking off. So I'm going to start up one end. Now you could obviously use a blending brush, but because I want this quite dark, that's why I'm using the dabber. I don't normally use these for kind of blending quite so much. I do quite like my brushes. But I do want the ink to kind of go down quite dark, so I feel you kind of get that more from a dabber like this. Oops. Here comes the tricky part of trying to hold on to it without getting ink everywhere. So I'm just going to spin it round. I'm going to use this to hold on to. Okay, so then we've got the dark blue down. Then, like I said, I'm going to come in with the black as well. So I'm not going to change dabbers. I'm not really fussed. So again, I'm just going to kind of dust off at the edge. Then I'm going to just start coming in and blending over. Whoops, the black. Sorry, blending over the blue with the black is what I meant. And this will hopefully just kind of give it that spacey look. Right, I'm just going to shuffle that round. There we go. Okay. So while that's drying, I'm just going to pick that up, pop that to the side. I'm going to let that dry for a second. Let's move the inks out of the way. Right, so now I've got my circles and my astronaut. So again, I think I'm going to start with the circles. So I'm just going to fling my paper round, just so obviously you can see a little bit better. I'm just going to zoom you in slightly. Right, so I'm going to be using my oil pastels that I received from Grabby in one of their boxes ages ago. It comes in an array of different colours. Now, I am not a scientist, and I know that there probably are certain colours that you use for certain planets, possibly, I don't know. I'm just going to be creative, I think, and just colour some in. So I'm going to use some different colours. I'm going to use some different greens to start with, and I think I'll do one of my... Shall I do one of the small? I'll do one of the smaller ones. So what I'm going to do is just kind of start at the middle and fade my way out. And then I'm going to come in with the next colour and kind of blend it in together. I'm just going to give that a bit of a smudgeroo, so it looks a little bit, hopefully, more planet-like, because it goes a bit sort of blotchy where it's obviously oils, which obviously is what you're kind of after with a planet. Right, just to help me along the process, I'm going to be wiping my finger just so I don't get completely covered. Right, okay, so we've got a green planet. What shall we have next? Let's maybe have some reds and oranges. So again, just going to, well, that wasn't quite the middle, but start in the middle, spread my way out. Smush in some of the orange. It doesn't matter if I go over the edges, because obviously I'm going to be punching this out in a minute anyway. Right, and then I'm just going to smudge. So again, use my finger. And just again, going from the middle, smudging my way out. Like so. Again, just clean myself up. And on to the next colour. Right, so we've got red, green. Let's maybe go for a blue. So I'm going to start again in the middle. I don't often get these pastels out. As you can see, they're actually still pretty new. I think I used them in the demo with the box that I got. I think it was one of the... oh, was it one of their Mindful boxes? It might have been. And they had some oil pastels. And I used to love oil pastels. I used to play with them all the time. But yeah, these have not had the use that they probably deserve. Okay, so blend that one in a bit. Right, then we've got one more. I think I might do a purple for my little one. Okay. And that one I'm just going to rely on blending, because it is obviously just such a small planet. There we go. So this is going to be my red one. I'm just lining it up and punching that one. So my next one is this, which I think is 1.5 inches. Oh, I need to cut in slightly more for that one. Let's see if I can do the others. So this one's a 1 inch. Nope, need to cut in for that one as well. Okay, let's grab some scissors. I'm just going to cut in a little bit closer. So hopefully we can now reach in. So again, just lining it up with where I've drawn. And the last one. Even that one's too big. Hang on, I think I've got a smaller one. Okay, I've got this one, which is 5/16 of an inch. I think this one's probably too small, but it'll do. Okay. So I've got my little planets. Right, so the next thing I need to do is cut out my astronaut. So I'm just going to very quickly get rid of these punches so they're out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my little cutting mat, and what I'm going to do, just to make it easier, I'm just going to roughly chop him out. And I'm just going to use my craft knife to kind of go round him. Now, you can fussy cut with scissors. I'm not very good with scissors, so that's why I'm going to use this. I am going to leave a little bit of a white edge around him, almost as if this was like a die cut. But I just find using this is much easier than scissors. Now, I'm not sure how much of him we're going to see, if I might have him kind of coming off the edge of my index card. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, this image I just got from online. It was just a free image. I thought I had like a little astronaut sticker somewhere, but I can't seem to find it, so that's why I thought I'd just pop online and see if there's any astronaut images I could use. Now, where he's obviously got some light on him, some of these areas are quite tricky to kind of see where it's the edge of his suit. So some of it I am just guesstimating if it's been obviously just made white and there's no clear edge to him. Right. Okay, then hopefully he should now just pop straight out. There we go. It's my little astronaut. Right, so now to start constructing this a little bit. So let's get the different planets in. And again, I might not necessarily have these full on the page. Oops. I'm going to have my astronaut. I'm going to have to put some stars or something else in the background as well, I think. But yeah, I think I quite like that. Let's see. Now I know I punched this out, but you can really see where I've kind of hand drawn my circle. I probably drew it a little bit dark, so I'm just going to trim that down ever so slightly. You can't really see it too much on the others. I think where my circle punch was a bit bigger. Okay. I'm thinking I want the big one maybe behind him. Could kind of make it look so they're kind of in the distance, something like that. And then obviously I'm going to want some stars. Now for that, I think I'm going to use a white gel pen. Okay, so I've got some different thicknesses. So I think I'm going to do lots of different stars. And I'm going to have them different thicknesses. So this one is the 10, so this one is the bigger one. I'm just going to randomly go around and put these bigger stars in. Now I'm actually going over some of mine as well, just to kind of make them a little bit bigger. Then I'm going to go down to the 8 and do the same. Probably won't do the 5 just because I think the 5 might be a bit small. So maybe just going to add one more. Now I know you could do a splattering with paint. I was debating that, but I've got these gel pens and I don't use them. So I thought I'd use these. Right. So I've got my stars. I was then going to have my astronaut kind of floating in with this one about here, wasn't I? So let's get my glue. And I'm obviously going to be covering the majority of this. But it will hang over a little bit, so I'm just going to leave that edge and pop that about there. Okay, and then my astronaut going to be kind of coming over here, wasn't he? Okay, so I'm just going to think where I want my other planets. I'm just going to cut this off. Because I could use that in another spot as well, just to make it look like there are more planets. maybe. Something like that. And then I have one small step, which I was thinking of putting down here. So let's get these bits stuck down. Or do I want that that way? Yeah, I might have that that way. Now I know I'm covering up some of the stars. I'm going to go back in a minute and just add some more if I need to. I'm going to do a similar trick with this one. So I'm going to put this one up here. Then what's left of it I'm going to pop down here. So let's just get this little one on. About there. Got this one. I could possibly pop down here at the bottom. And this one. Can't pick it up. Yeah, I'm going to put this one over here. Now I realise that this obviously isn't an accurate depiction of a solar system. It's me just having fun with coloured circles essentially. But obviously that's half the game, isn't it? Just having a bit of fun. Right, pop the lid on that. Let's do the sentiment, and then I think I will come in and start adding some more stars. So one small step. So one small step, something like that. And for this I just used my embossing label maker, which I'm sure I showed in a previous video. Oh, these are a pain to get the backings off though. There we go. That first one wasn't too bad because at the end it does snip a little bit, so you can pull it back nice and easily. Right, one small step. I actually don't like that small one. Can I get it off without ruining? Yeah. Just gonna pull that a second. I'm just going to shorten the sides a little bit. That's better. Right, one small step. Fabulous. Right, and now I can go back in, add some more stars. Okay, right, so with my 8, I'm going to go around very roughly. My writing. I'm going to put little kind of connections in there as well, and then I'm going to draw in what would be his lifeline to him as well. Okay, so there is my card. So this was week 35. The prompt was solar system. As I said, not representative of a true solar system, but had a little bit of fun playing with my oil pastels. Really love that background, and yeah, very, very happy with that. I would really love to see your takes on these cards as well. I'd really love to see them in the Facebook group. Lots of people do post in there. If you're looking for any inspiration, that's the place to kind of head over to see how others have interpreted these prompts. If you have enjoyed this video, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. Please feel free to drop me a comment. I really love reading and responding to those. If you are not already a subscriber, I would really love for you to do so. Please make sure that you also click that bell button. That way you are notified of any new crafty videos. Once again, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next crafty video. Bye for now.